Why would you want to buy biscuits when you can make them at home just as easy? Good afternoon everybody and welcome to my channel, The Happy Home Cook. My name is Peter. I'm a food and restaurant critic in Bristol and I'm also a very keen home cook. And in this video series I'm going to show you some of my all-time favourite recipes that you can make at home. So let's get right into it. So today I'm going to be making cinnamon coated cookies. They sound delicious, they taste delicious. They're going to be a winner at any kind of kitchen table. So here's what you're going to need to get started. You're going to need some eggs, some butter, some not plain sugar, some caster sugar, some plain flour, some pecans, although you can use walnuts if you wish, but I've chosen to use pecans. And you'll also need some milk. The butter is unsalted butter, I should add that, unsalted butter. For the full list of ingredients, including all the measurements, head over to my Patreon page where you can get a full list of those in the descriptions there below. I will upload this recipe onto Patreon and you can get all the measurements there as well. But for now, let's get started. First of all, you want to line a couple of baking sheets with some greaseproof paper. You can, if you haven't got greaseproof paper, use either an oil or a butter, but to save on the washing up, I've used greaseproof paper. Next, you want to preheat your oven for about 250 degrees. So next, what you'll want to do is take a food mixer or a hand blender. I've got my trusty KitchenAid here and I'm going to start adding my ingredients to the bowl. So I have got my butter in here. I'm going to add that to the mixing bowl. And you want the butter kind of at room temperature really. You don't want it cold because you want to cream the butter, so the softer it is the better, but you don't want it melted, you don't want it runny. So kind of in between, if that makes sense. Start your mixer off slowly. Just get the butter softened up. I mean, it should already be at room temperature anyway, so it should be quite soft to begin with. But just start it off slow and get that butter kind of broken down and creamed. As that's slowly going, you want to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract or vanilla essence, whatever you have, straight into the butter, and then slowly, bit by bit, you want to start adding your sugar. You want to add this to the mix until it becomes kind of light and fluffy, if you like. And if you think it's going too slow, just turn it up ever so slightly. Just do it bit by bit and then you can't overdo it. It's always best to go slower rather than faster, because as always in cooking, if you go too much, you can very rarely bring it back. But if you go just a little, you can always add more if needed. And that's true for if you're just adding ingredients or even mixing things through like this. So this is going really well. I'm just going to turn it up just ever so slightly. And just keep adding that butter until all the butter and the sugar has creamed together. And that goes. Whoop. As the mixer is still doing its job, what you want to do is you want to take your eggs, beat them ever so slightly, just break up the yolks, and then once you've got the eggs combined. I don't know whether you can see that or not. It's not the greatest. You can then add them to your butter and sugar mixture. You'll have to forgive me, I am filming this on my own, all on an iPhone and just like a small tripod. So I do apologise, it's not the best, it's not the best food program you've probably seen today. I completely understand that. We'll just bring them in, speed them up just a little bit. And there you have your eggs all in there with your butter and your sugar. Now, once you are happy with how your butter and sugar mix is looking, you want to then just add your milk to the mix, like so. I've turned the mixer down a bit because you don't want things going, you know, too violently, otherwise it then starts to just splash milk, butter and egg everywhere, and nobody really wants that, to be honest with you. Okay, next what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my flour into the wet mixture. What I've already done is I've added some bicarbonate of soda to the wet mixture, and I'm just going to sift this through, and this just stops any lumps getting into the batter. So what I might do is take a trusty spoon and just slowly sift that in. I've just got a sieve over the mixing bowl in the food mixer, and I'm just sieving this through to make sure there are no lumps in the batter. So I'm just going to stir that through now, make sure all the ingredients are incorporated. I've just got the mixer on the slowest speed it'll go, and just make sure that is all mixed in good and proper. You can do this by hand, of course, but why do it by hand when you've got a cool kitchen gadget to do it all for you? Once the dough has been brought together, you can go in with a spatula just to get it all from around the edges and just to make sure it is doubly mixed in. But honestly, these food mixes are brilliant, and they'll get all of that mixed in anyway, so you don't really have to worry about it too much. So the dough is coming together quite nicely. I'm now going to just add in some chopped pecan nuts. Now you can use walnuts, you can use any nuts you want really. You can use a bit of a mixture. I'm using pecans because they're all I've got. is the honest answer. But these will give it a nice kind of caramelly flavour anyway, and texture. So I'm just going to add those to the biscuit mixture, and then what I'm going to do, give this a good old mix, and then I'm going to refrigerate this for about 15 minutes. So I will check back with you in 15 minutes. Okay, so while the oven is preheating and while the cookie dough is resting in the fridge, I'm going to make the coating for the cookies. Really, really simple. All you want is some sugar. Can use just ordinary granulated sugar, cane sugar. I've gone for caster sugar, some ground cinnamon, and some nutmeg. That's my little secret weapon, bit of nutmeg. So what you want to do is you want to take 5 tablespoons of sugar. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is no good if you're diabetic, by the way, or trying to lose weight. you're going to take 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. So 1, 2, and I always tend to make them a little bit generous, so 2 big tablespoons. And then what you want, lovely, just because nutmeg can be quite a strong spice and it can be overpowering, I'm gonna add just half a tablespoon of the ground nutmeg. In that goes. And that is basically all the sugar and spices that you need for that. And then it's just a case of taking a spoon or a fork or whatever and just mixing that all in. And that is what is going to coat your biscuits and give them a real nice spiced flavour, almost like a wintry Christmas spice. I mean, I know we're in the middle of summer here in England and it is baking hot. I mean, it must be about 24, 25 degrees outside and it's probably nearly 28 in this kitchen and I'm baking. But these are like a wintry biscuit and they taste nice. They're nice all year round. But yeah, they're particularly good in the winter months. So that is your coating for the biscuits, and I shall be back momentarily with the rested biscuit dough, and we'll get those in the oven and get those cooked and hopefully have a little taste. See you soon. Okay guys, welcome back. The cookie dough has been resting for about 15 minutes in the fridge. You can leave it longer if you wish. Obviously, the longer you leave it, the more it firms up, the easier it is to kind of manipulate. Because what we're going to do is we're going to roll them into small little balls, roll them in our cinnamon, nutmeg and sugar mixture, flatten them down slightly and then put them onto a baking sheet. It's just a normal baking sheet with some greaseproof paper. So let's get started. So I've taken an ice cream scoop. Ideally, if you get one of the larger scoops with the the clicky thing, I don't know what that's called, they'll probably turn out better. But this is what I've got, so this is what I'm going to use. So let's just see how it goes. So I'm going to take a small, like so. We're just gonna, also it's best to have cold hands when you're doing this. We're gonna roll that in our mixture, get that nice and coated. Voila, onto the baking pan, press down, and there we go. Now, I will be honest, this is the first time I've made these, so I have absolutely no idea how these are going to turn out. They could turn out to be absolutely brilliant. They could turn out to be an absolute disaster. I'm kind of hoping they're going to be brilliant rather than a disaster, but you never know with kind of cooking things for the first time what they're going to be like. What I will say is, if you don't think that the cookie dough is firm enough, just pop the mixture back into the fridge and let it go as cold as you want it to be. In fact, what you could even do is pop it into the freezer for just a short amount of time, and that way it'll firm up more. Now, this has been in for 15 minutes and it's not that firm. So what I'm going to do is pop it back in for another 15 minutes, probably maybe even 20, and just let this firm up for a little while longer, and then come back to it, and then put the cookies onto the baking sheet and let them bake. So join me in a few short while. And sorry, this camera angle's really bad, isn't it? You're kind of only seeing my nose and mouth, which kind of gotta duck down. Join me in a few moments, and hopefully the dough will have firmed up and it'll be a bit more malleable. That's a good word, isn't it? Malleable. So welcome back. The cookies, or the cookie dough I should say, have had plenty of time to chill in the refrigerator. Usually about 15 to 20 minutes should do it, but the longer you leave them, the more firm the mixture will become, and the easier they will be to kind of mold into biscuit shapes. But that is them in their raw form. I've preheated the oven to about 250 degrees, so they're going to bake in the oven now for about 10 to 15 minutes until they are golden brown. This is a really simple and easy recipe to do. What I will do is I will list all of the ingredients and the cooking method on my Patreon page, so go over to there, sign up to Patreon for the full recipe and cooking method, and I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to give me a like, a share, and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video. And don't forget, you can catch me on all the social media websites as well: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, I think I'm on as well. So I'm all there, and my weekly restaurant column comes out in the Direct Local Bristol magazine. It's a direct local magazine, but it's the Bristol and South Gloucestershire editions. That comes out every Thursday. So head over to their website. I'll put the link in the description below, and sign up for that for my weekly restaurant column, and that is free to do. So there we go. But until next time, I will see you soon. Thanks for tuning in, and yeah, take care. Bye bye.